So hey everyone, welcome back, and today we are going to discuss both of the contests. So this one is bi-weekly contest 187 and the weekly contest 511 if I'm not wrong. So we are going to discuss both of the contests. So talking about the second problem, which is quite good in both of the contests, but they are more related to specifically for the bi-weekly, they are more related to mathematical concept. There are not something like algorithm stuffs, but yeah, they are really good. So let's start with the weekly one. Right, so let's see what the first problem is and what they're asking us to actually do in this particular problem. Right, so this is an even number of 9 moves. Got it. You are given a 2 integer arrays, start and target, where each array is in the form of x and y, representing a cell on a standard 8x8 chessboard. Return true if a knight can move from start to target in an even number of moves. Got it. Otherwise return false. A knight valid moves consist of moving 2 square in one direction and 1 square perpendicular to it. The figure below illustrates all the possible moves from a cell 1. Okay, so this is the easy problem and how to actually think about it, right? So as we all know, how knight moves in the chessboard, right? The movement of knight. So it move in a way that at every point it move in 3 steps, you can say 2 steps straight and the 1 step either upwards or either downwards, right? So this is the movement of the knight if I'm talking about moving towards the right. Similarly, if it is moving towards the left, then this would be like this, right? Either it would be upward or either it would be a downward, right? So this is the movement. And similarly for the other cases, like if you are moving from knight is moving towards upward or moving to right, so right, downward, right? So this is the movement of the knight and the chessboard. And what we have given two things. We have a start, which is represented by x and y, and we have a target, which is represented via, let's say, x dash and y dash. So what we have to do, we have to reach from start to target in a even number of movement, right? Even number of moves we have to use in order to reach the target, and we just have to find it is possible for us to actually reach the target in even number of moves, right? So before solving this particular problem, first we should need to understand this particular thing, that okay, while the knight is moving in this particular pattern or either this particular pattern, what exactly we get, right? So let's say if I'm at a x comma y, let's say if I'm at x comma y, then what movement knight is making, that it will go 1 1 and either upward or either downward, right? So if you see, we are what we are doing is that we are adding plus 2 and then either -1 or +1. So this is what we have been doing over here. If we are starting from this particular point and moving in either of this particular direction, right? So we are adding +2 to the value of x, right? And we are going upwards or we are going downwards. So this is the exact behavior in every situation. Either we are moving in this particular direction, or maybe we move to this particular direction. If you see, for the first time the movements is going to be this, and if we calculate, then how many numbers, like what we're actually adding in this particular scenario, that if we moving towards this particular direction, so we are adding 2 plus 1 or 2 plus 2 minus 1, right? And if you see how many numbers, the total sum which we are adding, so which is equal to 3, right? Or you can say a odd number, not a 3, right? So this is the particular thing which we are doing, right? And if you see, in this particular case, we have done this for the first time. What if I do this for the second number of time, right? So in that case, we do the same stuff. We add +2 and minus or +1, right? So I just write it with the help of it for the better understanding. So we do +2 or -1 or +1, let's say +1. And if knight move in the second move, then we again add +1, +2 and +1. And if we calculate how many times and how many move we done, so which is 4 and 2. So you see, for two moves we are adding even number of, right? And for here, if you see, if we just talked about one move, we are adding odd numbers. If you see, right, if you see, we move our knight 2 times, and what's the total number which we added, which is 4 and 2. And if we just move it 2 plus 2 and 1 time, then what the number we have added, we have added 3, which is an odd number. So you see what exactly the pattern is, that if I'm at x comma y and I have to reach x dash comma y dash, so what number of operation, like what the particular pattern which I have been using to move, if I'm moving one time, so then the number which I'm adding is an odd. If I'm moving 2 times, then the number which come out to be is even. And you see what they have asked in the question, that we have to reach even number of moves. In even number of moves we have to reach. So this is the one move which is odd, this is the 2 which is the even, right? So what exactly the pattern, just notice it, that okay, if I'm at x comma y and I have to reach x dash comma y dash, right? So I need to use a even number of moves, right? And whenever I'm making an even number of moves, so what the value I have been adding, the value I have been adding is 4, 2, which indicates that okay, if the current parity of the x plus y, let's say x plus y is even, then after adding the even number of moves, the x dash plus y dash should also be even, parity should also be even, right? If it is the case, then it is possible for us to reach that particular number, right? Why? Because you see, at every point we have to either we go at a like odd position, or either we go at a even position. If you know about the working, or if you know about the behavior of the knight, that if you are at one particular cell, either because we only have two color, white and black. If you are currently at a white, then after moving you move to black, then move to white. So this is just alternating, right? And that's the move. So I know we also see that when we are moving 2 times, so what the number of value we are adding when we are moving 1 time, and what the value we are adding, right? So if I'm x comma y and I want to reach x comma y, then their parity should be same. Why? Because if I add 4 to my current number, which is whatever the number is, then after adding, if it's an even, then their parity should also be even, and if it's an odd, then parity should also be odd. So that's how we are actually figuring out that it is just it is possible for us to reach x dash comma y dash after performing an even number of operation. So this is the whole idea behind this particular question, and that what we are doing. So you just need to know about the knight working, right? How knight moves in the chessboard, and after that you just need to take care about the parity bits that will give you the idea that okay, how things are actually moving. Right, let's see the code is pretty simple, like just one liner. You also have a way to actually use BFS and another stuff, but that's an overkill for this particular problem. It's an easy problem, right? And constraints are also pretty low. So I just doing the same stuff. If the start and the start parity is equal to the end parity, if it is, then it's true, otherwise it is false. So this is the main idea behind solving this particular problem, right? Initially look little difficult, but it is not. You just need to understand the working and the movement of knight, right? And after that everything is simple for you, right? So this is about the first problem, which is of a time complexity of 1. Let's this is the second problem, which is, I think it's also an easy problem. I don't think it's a difficult, right? If you know basic trees and traversals, then it is just a cakewalk for you. It's not that much difficult. So let's understand what the problem is saying. A node x is called a dominant if its value is equal to the maximum value among all the roads in subtree rotated at x. Got it? So this is current tree. The leaf node with the value 2, 4, 7 and 1 are dominant. Okay, all the leaf nodes are dominant. Why? Because the maximum value among all nodes in subtree. for the leaf nodes we don't have any subtree, so they are the root nodes, and we consider, let's say for the leaf node the left is 0, the right is 0, then 2 is greater than. Similarly for the 4, left is 0 and right is 0, the value is greater, right? And after that node 8 value is dominant. Why? Because if you see, node left and the right both are smaller than 8, so that's why we call this as dominant. So we just have to return the total number of nodes which are dominant. So this is the question, right? Let's write it over here if possible. So right, so what are the examples? 5 3 8, 5 and 3 8, and after that we have 2 4 7 1, 2 4 7 and 1, right? So this is the tree. Let's make it look a real tree. Sorry if my drawing is not that much good, but I'll try. So yeah, this is our tree, and you see what they're saying, that a node, like they mentioned that a node is dominant if it is greater than its both of the child, right? It should be greater than its left and its right child. So it should be greater than its left and the right child. So this is and it should contains all nodes coming from the left and the right subtree, not just their children, also their subtrees nodes, right? What I'm talking about is that, let's say if I'm considering 5, so I'm not just checking that if 5 is greater than 3 and 5 is greater than 8. I also need to make sure that the value of 5 should greater than value of 5 should greater than all of this subtree, and the value of 5 should also be greater than all of the subtree nodes, right? So this is the problem they are asking. And another thing is that leaf node are always dominant because they do not have a child, which means they are the, if we consider that their child value is 0, so that's the reason they are already a dominant node. So how we can actually think about it, this particular problem, right? So it's a standard traversal problem, right? So you just need to do two things. For every node, what you have to do, you have to go left, you have to go right, and at that particular node you just need to check that, okay, if the value of my current node is greater than the left and the greater than right. If it is, then we will count that with some variable, right? Let's say 1. And now what we have to return from here, that okay, I have calculated and I found that okay, the root is the valid for that. So in that case, I have to return, we just have to return the maximum value which is coming from here. Why? Because you see, for the 5 we need to take care what are the maximum value, and in the right what are the maximum value, so that when we can easily check if 5 is exactly the dominant node or not, right? So this is the core idea behind this particular problem. Let's see the code for better understanding. I have done the same thing which I mentioned, right? So just call the solve function, and what I will do, if it's a leaf node, right, so I'm returning 0 because I'm considering that you don't have any child, so it is 0. Then iterate from both of the side, left and right, and I'm checking if my current root value is greater than left and greater than right. If it is, then I'm simply counting because I need to count the number of nodes, and after that I'm just returning the maximum from all the including current, so that I can check for the further nodes. So this is the main idea behind this particular problem, right? So yeah, this is it. This is the second problem of weekly contest. Let's move to the bi-weekly contest. So this is the first problem, which is quite easy. I don't need to use accelerator as well. So what the problem is that you are given a string s and two distinct lowercase English letter x and y. Rearrange the character of s to construct a new string t such that t is a permutation of s. Every occurrence of y appears before every occurrence of x in t. Return any valid string t. Right, so what they are saying, that we have given a string s, we also given it two character like x and y, and we have to make a string in such a way that it should be a permutation and all the occurrence of y should appear before a. So it's quite simple that while making a string we will separate x and separate y, right, and separate y with a string and merge up, and after that we just merge x to our original string. That will give us the answer which we are looking for. So you see, ABC is the actual string and every occurrence of C appear before occurrence of A, right? Let's see how I have done in the code. So I have used user to string builder because in a Java string is immutable, right? So we can't change it. So I have just this is storing the occurrence of x and this is storing the result, right? I just iterating over the character. I'm just checking, okay, if it's a occurrence of x, then I'm simply iterating and putting it inside this because I'm not going to store and add it to my answer. Otherwise I'm just storing it inside my answer, and after that if everything is done, in the end I just simply appending the occurrence of x to the result, right? So this is the main idea behind this particular problem, right? So this is it. The time complexity is O of n, the space complexity is also you can say I've been using a string, so which is O of n, right? So this is the first problem. Let's move to the second problem. So second problem is maximum value of an alternating sequence. This sounds a little difficult for the first glance because we have a thing like have a concept of sequences, right? And if you see that, okay, let's understand the problem that, okay, you are given a 3 integer n, s and m. A sequence of integer of length n is considered valid if sequence start should be s. The sequence is alternating, meaning that either sequence 0 is greater than sequence 1. Okay, either it should be a peak or it should be a valley, the same concept. For every adjacent pair, the difference should less than be equal to m. A sequence of length m is considered alternating. Return the maximum possible element that can appear in any valid sequence. So initially it sounds little difficult, and I also thought initially, like before starting the video, I also talked about the second problem. So it is more related to like a mathematical trick, you can say, something not related to a logarithmic, because I also see like a lot of people in the discussion mentioning that, okay, this should be a hard problem, but somebody is saying that should be an easy problem. So what's the main agenda behind this? So the thing is, if you know the trick, then it's an easy problem, and if you don't know, then it is easy to medium problem, right? So if you see, there is a pattern, right? There is a pattern. I will show you what the pattern is working. So this is the current values, and what they are asking us to do, that we have to generate array of length 4, right? So array of length 4, write it with the help of this, right? And the value of the first should be equal to s, which is 3, right? So the value of first should be equal to 3, which is the s, right? And we have to fill certain value over here, let's say x, and certain value over here y. And what's the condition is? The condition they are mentioning over there, that either x should be greater than previous one or x should be less than previous one. Either it should be a peak or it should be a value kind of behavior, right? So this is what we have to achieve in this particular problem. And while making sure that whatever value we have used over here, the difference between this value and this value should not exceed m, right? So because they have mentioned that, if you see, they have clearly mentioned over there, this is the condition, that sequence of I and minus sequence of previous should less than be equal to m. So this is the main idea we have to achieve. Let's in order to understand it, let's pick it example and just analyze what pattern is going over here, right? So if you see, this is the state after forming a sequence with the help of the given parameters or the given value we have, right? So if you see, initially the first element of the sequence should also be s, which is mentioned in the question, but analyze how we get an 8, right? What value should we add to get 8, right? The main agenda here is that we have to find the maximum value, right? So what we are doing, we will try to put a maximum value as much as possible right, because at the end we want maximum, but the thing is we also need to take care of this part as well, right? So we need to add or use a particular value which difference with the previous value should less than be or equal to m, right? So this is the main thing. So if you see, if what the core idea is, what maximum value I can add. So the maximum value which I can add is, I just simply add m to it. And if you see here, I have added m plus m over here, which gave me the value of 8, right? And after that, now I already added a maximum value, and now either I have to find the peak or I have to find the value, right? I cannot add maximum value over here, like I cannot add maximum value over here. Why? Because I need to make a pattern such that it should be either greater than or it should be less than, but right now I have added a maximum value, which means I need to add a minimum value. So what minimum value which I can put, so I will try to reduce as minimum as possible, so that it will help me to find the maximum value. So that's why now after that I am just doing -1 over here, right? And after that if you see for the 7, that for these two numbers, if you see for these two numbers, the difference is under the less than or equal to m, right? So we are good. And after that I'm at a 7, right? So 7 is already less than previous, so I'm also looking for something which, like, what maximum value which I can add. And if you see at 7 we have added m to it, plus m we have added, which give us a 12. So if you see at every point we are adding plus m, we are subtracting -1, we are adding plus m, we are subtracting -1. So this is the main pattern which we are using over here. So the one thing which we can use as a brute force, you can say, while making this sequence, we just add these particular numbers and calculate the maximum value, right? Which will work, but it will give you a TLU, right? Because if you see the constraints, so constraints are pretty high. The value is 10 to the power 9, so we cannot run a loop to calculate the value. So this is, but the exact idea behind this particular sequence, like how things are actually working, right? So there is a mathematical trick which it took me a lot of time to actually understand. So if you see, in order to form like what number of operation we have done over here, right? So how many times we have added m? So we have added m 2 times, which is, and we have subtracted it 1 time, and this is the place where we get always maximum value. So this is exactly mathematical concept and mathematical formula to actually solve this particular problem, that how many number of time we have incremented, and for the decrement we only do 1 time decrement, because that is the sequence which will going to give us the maximum value. So this is the main idea. And if you see the code, so code is quite simple, right? I have just find out how many number of increases I have done and how many number of decreases I have done, because that will give you the idea that what the sequences look like. And the maximum sequence which we are looking for is s plus the number of increases and the number of decreases. So this is the main formula which I have told you, that which we have derived by using this. And because the main agenda is just to understand this particular pattern, right, in this particular problem. So that's why somebody is saying that it's difficult, somebody is saying that it's easy. So it's easy if you know the pattern, it's little difficult if you don't know the pattern, right? So this is about the second problem, which have the time complexity of O1, right? So this is it about the contest problems. I hope you are able to understand the solutions. If you are, then do let me know in the comment section. If you have any question, if you have any suggestion, do let me know in the comment section, so that I can work upon that. And sorry for the interruption in the between, right? And I hope you are able to understand. Just do let me know in the comment section. Do subscribe to the channel, so that I also give a little bit more motivation. And do let me know in the comment section if you want a topic on some other topic and any other tech related stuff. So I'm just ready to make video on that as well. Until then, bye bye, take care, and just keep grinding.